Hello rock lovers, it's time for another episode of Slabbing these rocks that I found out in West Texas. Several weeks ago I went out rock hounding near the Rio Grande River outside the town of Terlingua, and I found a lot of rocks. Some of them have been really interesting, some have been duds. This week let's start with this one. What will happen when I slab this rock here? As you can see, it has lots of these lines through it, these bands. I don't think it's an agate. In fact, I'm sure it's not an agate. But it is a rock with a lot of layering in it. Now, notice there's some color on this side. That's kind of cool, huh? Now, let's get this in the shop and get some slabs off of it. I'm thinking just chop it down like that. What do you think? Let's get it cut. The cutting is finished. Now let's check it out. Will this be an interesting looking rock? Let's see this little end cut. Well, that's interesting. I like those horizontal lines. Let's take a look at the first full slab. What does that look like? Ooh, that's interesting looking, isn't it? Wow. I like that fracture. Let's see, will it break? No, it doesn't seem to want to break. What a cool pattern. Let's see this last slab here. Wow. I'll bet you this will look great turned into a cabochon. It'll have some kind of weird optical effect, I believe, with all of those lines running through it. It is somewhat translucent, too. I like this rock. I think this is definitely a keeper. For our next rock, let's do this interesting looking, white, opaly looking thing. I remember when I found this, I was wondering, what is this? I chipped off this end, and it's, I don't know, is it a quartzite or something? I can't tell. It feels very soft, sort of like an opal. So it could just be a giant chunk of common opal, I suppose. I don't expect to find much on the inside. As you can see, it has a lot of sort of contours and divots and whatnot. So if our slabs have a lot of that in them, they may be fairly useless. We'll see. Let's get this in the shop and get some slabs off of it. The second rock is all finished. The cutting's done. What will this look like? Let's take a look at this end cut here. That's plain. Kind of interesting, I suppose. It feels very smooth. I don't think it's an opal, but I don't know what it is. Let's see this first full slab. Well, it's interesting looking. Not sure I could do much with it. How about this last slab? It might be fun to try to do something with this. Incorporate these little voids right here. So that almost looks like a horse, like there's the horse's head right there in the mane. I can kind of see a horse galloping along. Anyway, this rock is interesting, but maybe not too useful in the shop. I believe this is a piece of petrified wood. It has all the makings of that. You can sort of make out a grain pattern in there. Maybe not, I don't know. I think it is. Well, let's find out. Let's get this in the shop and let's cut it like, I'm not sure, probably with the grain. We'll see, maybe those slabs will tell us if this is in fact a piece of petrified wood. The petrified wood has been cut. Now what will this look like? Remember, I cut against the grain, so this is what we see. Well, so. Let's check the first full slab. What do we got here? Well, it's interesting. There's a little bit of color in there, as you can see, even some red, which I do like. I think this would take a great polish. How about this last slab here? I do think this would make a pretty cabochon. I've worked with this kind of stuff before, and normally it takes a great shine. Here's what we have left. Now I wonder how would it have looked if I had cut with the grain. Yeah, I still have enough left. I can do that at some point. I think overall though, I like this rock. Our next rock is a really interesting one. I remember when I found this, I got all excited because it has a very soft opal-y feel. And you can see it looks like it's all held together with some sort of agate material like chalcedony. Notice that in there? Strange looking rock. Plus there's a little bit of almost color on this side. You see that? So what is this? What will it look like? Let's find out. Let's get this in the shop and let's get a couple of slabs off of it. Well, what do you think? This interesting rock has been slabbed. We lost a couple of little chunks in the slabbing process. Let's see this first end piece here. Well, it's interesting, right? I don't know what it is. Some sort of conglomerate, I guess, all glued together with whatever that stuff is. Let's see. Could I do anything with this? That's the question. Oh, I'm sure I could make a cabochon. Would it be an interesting looking cabochon? I guess that depends on the shine. I suppose it's interesting with all those shapes in there. A little bit of color. Don't know. It's an interesting rock, an unusual rock, so for that reason I like it. For our next rock, how about this small agate rock? I can see the lines of chalcedony in there. On this side, as you can see, there's a big chunk of something right there, and this turns more to a very fluorescent looking yellow on this side. I have tumbled a rock that looks just like this all around it, and it was beautiful. What will this look like when we get some cuts off of it? All right, our little jasp agate type rock has been slabbed. How did it turn out? Let's take a look at this first little end piece. Ooh, I like that. There's definitely some agatiness in there. That'll be good for the tumbler. Let's check out this first full slab. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty in there. I like that. A little mossy. Very nice. I could see a free-form cabochon coming from this piece right here. And then we have this one. Wow, look at all that in there. It's translucent. Oh, that's very pretty. I got all this left. I do like that transition between the two colors right there. Isn't nature amazing? Look at that. Well, yeah, I can do some more cutting on this, or I could just throw this whole piece in the tumbler. Well, that'll be for another time. I like this rock. This is a good one. For our last rock, I'm gonna get this giant sucker on the saw. This rock is so big, I cannot get it into the entire frame of this camera setup that I use. You know, it's just an iPhone on a tripod, but you get the idea. It's a big stone. When I broke it, I looked inside and I thought, ooh, look at all that in there. That could be really pretty, right? So let's take this big old stone, get it on the slab saw, and get some slabs off of it. All right, this big guy has been slabbed. I gotta say, this one fooled me. When I chipped it out in the field, I thought I saw some really interesting stuff on the inside, but when I started cutting it, well, it's not awful, but it's not what I expected. This is the end piece. I made one extra slab of this, hoping to get into something really good. So it's okay, right? You see some color and some pattern in there. It's probably going to make a nice cabochon, but for some reason I thought it would have a lot more color and pattern in it. So for that reason, I'm a little disappointed. Some sections here clearly have some issues as far as making a cabochon. And finally, this one. Like I said, I made one extra slab, hoping to get into something really good. No such luck, though. It's not horrible, but definitely not what I was hoping for. And there's a lot left of this sucker. This one's probably going to end up back out in the field somewhere. Although, I don't know, maybe I'll continue to slab it. It looks like there's possibly some good stuff in there. I don't know. It fooled me, though. Like I said, this is the area where I chipped, and I thought I saw lots more color in there and pattern. So, yeah, very average rock in my opinion. Okay, another batch is finished. How did we do? Let's do some grading here. Which one did we start? Oh, this one, of course. How to grade this one. It's such an interesting rock with all of those lines in it. I do think this would make a great cabochon, so I'm going to give this one I'm going to say a solid B. And then what, did we jump on this white one here? Yeah, this one it's an interesting looking rock, but maybe not so great for lapidary work. So I'll say give this one a C. And then maybe, yeah, the petrified wood. Well, I like petrified wood, but as petrified wood goes, this one's not so great, is it? It's okay, a little bit of color over there. Probably make a nice cabochon. I'll say a C+. Then I think it was this one. I was hoping this one would be really interesting on the inside, and it's kind of interesting. Not sure what I would do with it. Well, obviously make a cabochon, right? And I suppose if it takes a great shine, it could make a beautiful cabochon, but I guess I won't know that until I finally turned it into one, which will be another video, I'm sure. Then we do this agate. I like it. Oh, by the way, did I even grade this one? Let's say a B minus. This, it's not as great as some of the other agates that I found out there in West Texas. It's still nice though, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this one an A minus. And finally, this slab off that big rock that I found, which I thought would be a lot nicer on the inside than this. It's not horrible. Yeah, you can see lots of stuff in there. But yeah, to me it's just very average looking. So I would say I'll give this one just a solid C. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed making it for you. I'll be making lots more of these as well, so please stay tuned for those. And also, be sure and check out my other videos for more like this. Thanks again.